Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
As many planets and moons and whatever rotate around the sun, if you understood the totality, so the unicos rotates around one sun, which is the creator, the soul of the creator, where all the energy comes from. When you look at the drawing of the unicos, especially in the back of the third book, the center point is the creator. And the rest are on their own clusters of their own clusters of their own cluster. If you compare it to the soul of the man, your brain has its own soul, your kidney has its own soul, your heart has its own soul, and then within it, the other sections, compartments of the fields of the strength to clean up the zinc, let's say, in your kidney, another part to clean up any vitamin D's, and another one. These become little galaxies. And then within the galaxies, then you have different tissues and the cells, and then become this like planetary system and whatever. But in fact, the essence of life of this cell in the kidney, which does certain job, is connected to the soul, which has been as a center. And that's the same. The whole unicos evolves and fed by the soul of the creator within the center. All these universes are those clusters of kidneys and whatever different galaxies. You are a creator. When you're a mother, you're a creator of that child. But you can be no mother, but create a love for a child, and you still create a new emotion in that child.
Yes, I accept that. But
So,
if I'm a creator, I'm big. So I'm not
no,
giving
who
from God.
says?
Creator is kind of power.
No. If you create a statue, do you have a power over a statue? Move, sit, move. Left, right. We don't have that. What suits us to befit us and befit our emotion?
Yeah, because we say there is only one God.
And there are many gods.
Okay. And when you say my command is my wish is
it's my decision. It's my decision, and that'll be it. I decide, and that'll be it.
But can I say that also?
Yes.
My wish is my command.
You decide to go to the shop to buy the clothes, it's your command. You decide to go. If you said the clothes doesn't come from the shop tree, it doesn't. Yeah?
Yeah, but it's not instantaneous. You know,
One is in the dimension of
process.
the soul and one is in the dimension of physicality.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
You just said there are many gods. Do you want to wait until next week to expand on that?
The God is us. Translation of the God as a creator, not translation of God as the big creator of everything. You understand? There is a philosophy which we come into it when man matures, even our creator as a creator. Otherwise, how was he created? You understand?
But where does that change stop? Does it stop?
It becomes us, it comes back to us to become them, to become us as what? As one.
Kind of like with the technology when you're feeding it back into yourself.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 532nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, April 4th, 2024. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be host once again in this weekly series of ongoing workshops from starting from over a decade ago now. And once again, we have the pleasure and honor of having Mr. Mehran Keshe as our presenter here today. And I believe he's ready to do some presenting. Hello, Mr. Keshe. How are you there?
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And as usual, we welcome you back to these, what I call gathering information and understanding more about what we need to understand and what we missed in understanding the process of creation. In the past months and in past times, we keep on speaking about what we call dimension and interaction of the fields of the universe. Why are we doing this? Why have we gone this way? Man in a matter state has understood most of the ways his cells physically are made, tissues, planets, animals around it, and he, with different ways and different stories, has created the process of evolution and how it has become from one thing to another and how different animals connect to be one and goes back to dinosaurs and the rest of it. In a way, teaching about the cosmic ray is where, in a way, the evolution of man, the evolution of what we call the solar system, which has created man that through evolution has become the man of today, has started. In a way, we're going a step back. Or not a step back, we're going in a way to understand the origin of the creation of the fields, which led to the creation of our solar system, which led to creation of us. And over time, we gathered intelligence. What happened to the other rays, which came from the same source and became other things, became other dimensions of lives in the universe? As we've seen, as we say, man came from the caves or whatever, and then he evolved from the oceans and from the seas, and then went up the tree and then got legs and arms and the rest of it. But in essence came from the original mixture of the materials which were present in this planet. Now what has been the mixture of the fields which are present in the universe? The only creature or the only creation cannot be us, because fields have taken different dimensions, different directions, and they've gone through the same evolution. Some in the earlier stages of the fields and some after us, the planetary systems and the stars, which have created after the Earth was created, and still is going through the process of maturity to create life in the dimension of repetition of the same cells, same structure of life. So when we speak about cosmic rays, when we speak about cosmic fields, is to take us back. We look at our ancestors, where they came from. We now look at where our space ancestors came from, where these fields came that they became us. Are we part of the structure which is a living structure, and we are part of it? And we are part of that evolution and part of the structure of this life. So when we start talking about cosmic rays and cosmic fields and the radiations which come from the universe, from cosmos, is to trace back the origin of our solar system, the origin of our galaxy, the origin of our universe. And this needs time, this needs understanding, this needs to comprehend step by step. We have matured a little bit. We understand about the creation of life on this planet. Now we talk about the sperm and the egg, which led to creation of the man. What energies from where it came that it led to the creation of the solar system? Nothing in a way has been, in a way it's a random, but in a way it has a pattern. In a way, if a woman doesn't get in touch with another man to create a child, there's always another man. There's another woman that you can create children with. So it's the same process in the dimension of the life in this space. One way or another, fields of the universe come together, and one way or another, they create repetition of life, repetition of what we call intelligence in matter state combination that leads to life. Life even exists in mono-atomic, mono-structure systems. Life exists in the planetary system, which only we observe nitrogen in it. Even neutron stars have life in them. It's for us to understand the intelligence of that life, because at the end of the day, a neutron decays. At the end of the day, a neutron has a spectrum of fields which their interaction leads to interaction of the molecular structure of the fields, and it leads to certain type of life. So what is going with us? Why are we taking this position? And what we are doing is, in a way, to follow our ancestors in the space. Where did the energies came that the interaction led to creation of the sun, that the interaction of the fields of it led to creation of the earth, and then from it, the man and all is created. Then we come to a new process. We come to understand what's the essence of the creation. And then we have to look at the bigger structure that, in a way, where did the fields came together? Was the origin of the fields, was the ancestral fields, which led to the creation of our galaxy. And then how these galaxies came together, which created the structure of what we call the universe. So as we grow, as we go backwards into understanding, we get intelligence that we can understand the process, we come to one point. What is the reason for creation? And what was the purpose of all this mayhem and mixture and all this what we see in the world of creation? Have we got intelligent enough? Have we understood about the process of creation that lead us to understand the rest of it? What leads to creation of manifestation in a dimension of physicality? Man has not understood this fully. In the upcoming time, in the teachings, I'll start explaining how the process of life comes. Man sees it, but man has never understood it. Man touches it, but man has not understood what it is touching. Man has been part of his own structure, but has not come to understand how this structure has been made. And this is one of the reasons that the world of science of the man is in a dilemma of today. How will it be, the way it will be, and how would it take shape in space? What do you need to manifest yourself? We talk about the presence of the soul and the soul of physicality, that their interaction with what we call the solar magnetic field of the earth leads to the creation or manifestation of the man. That is when the soul of physicality is out and creates the body of the man. Have you ever asked yourself what happens when the soul of the man is inside the soul of the physicality? We get the man. But what about when the soul of physicality is inside the soul of the man? What physical condition does it make? What is the man looks like inside that environment? Because if the soul of physicality could interact with the soul of the man in interaction with the soul of its environment, created the body of the man, what happens when the soul of physicality goes inside and the soul of man is interacting with this environment? What would you see? And what would be a structure within the structure of the soul which confirm the existence, the dimension of the soul of the physicality of the man? This dilemma, once you understand it, this question, once you become to realize it, will solve many, many unanswered questions in the world of science and technology of the physical life of the man. The true essence of, in a way, how DNA was created. How does it control? How does it function? How does it carry so much information? Or we call it DNA, it's so minute. But that minute structure, now we have given it a code, is a universe itself, it's a galaxy itself. The reality, which how gradually in the structure of the teachings will come to, is how would shape things take time to shape, and how the shape of the things to come will decide on the way we manifest ourselves, the way we, in a way, interact with our environment. Then we have to understand what is the essence of physicality. How do we manifest in the dimension of physicality? In a way, if you listen to the teaching of the past, it takes one drop to create a fish. It takes only one drop to manifest anything. But what is that drop? What does it contain? What is the essence of it? And what fields does it carry? What happens if I drop that in the water on this planet, and I drop that same water in another ocean, in another planet, in another liquid in another planet? Would it manifest itself as a fish? Or will it be nothing, dissolved and gone? Or will it become a monster? In essence, man needs to understand the interaction of the field of cosmos, the interaction of fields of the cosmos, and then the interaction of the fields of the creation and creator and cosmic rays, and the structure of the physicality of the man. Then you can transmute. Then you understand how to transmute. Then you understand what transmutation is, how you carry the emotion within the fields. Then you understand when we speak about RNA to be the software, what it means. RNA, once man understands, carries the full information of the universe, the full information of Unicos. So man does not need, in a way, to look, to teach, to learn something somewhere else other than the Earth or the universe or the galaxy, because once it's created, once it's gelled, once it's come to its condition of existence, it carries all that knowledge in it. The way it carries all the knowledge to produce every single cell on the toe, on the nail, where the nail is based, where the nail of the handle, where the hairs has to be, what color it has to be, and everything else. All the information which makes the structure of man sits in your RNA. And as the disk is read, creates emotion that creates a physicality through what we call DNA. So now we are looking, now we're trying to understand, now we're developing an understanding for the RNA of the universe, which is within the RNA of the man. It's a part which man has never touched because man never understood. And now, once the scientists expand this part of the technology, of the creation, once the man of the science go further in developing, in finding out which race, from where it comes, that adds to which part of the body of the man, man become knowledgeable to part of his own creation. This is part of the teaching which we've been saying for decades, that what man eats in a physical condition to feed his physicality on this planet is only 20%. The other 80% comes from the universe. How come you know you have to take vitamin C? How come you know you have to take vitamin D? How come you know you need calcium and potassium? And your body does not know which fields of the universe it needs to attract from the, what we call cosmic rays, to bring the other 80% in. We have not even understood the totality of what we take from our environment. What we take is not the food, the meat, the vegetables, and the fish. It's the fields of the universe. And how has RNA has brought this and adapted it that we absorb it without knowing. In some ways, nowadays, as I said many times before, we see auras. Isn't that the interaction of the magnetic field of the earth and the cosmic rays with the body of the man when they deliver the food to the man? When you have a strawberry is red color, your hand goes red, your tongue goes red when you eat it. So now the fields you receive from the universe in a given strength in interaction with the fields from you creates this color and that color, and so now you can see what you've eaten from the universe, what you've taken from the cosmic rays. Then you understand how important, as I've said many times, one day I explain to you what your aura means and what it is. Your aura is the atmosphere of your body in respect to its environment, but it has two environments. One with the interaction with the fields of the planet, and one with the interaction of the fields of the cosmos. Man has not even understood this yet. That's where that 80% comes. This is where we tap in. Today, we are going through the winter time. We have winter fruit. Tomorrow, next month, we go to the springtime. We have the spring fruits and the summer fruits. And collectively, by the time we come back in totality of 1 year, we collect all the fuels we need for life and we store some of it, because in winter time, we cannot take what we take in summer, but it's stored in the liver. Liver knows how to handle it. But where is the liver of the what we call energy fields of the body of the man? That takes energy from the universe, because every part in the universe we collect certain amount of fields which doesn't exist that much in other places. Unfortunately, we have not become wise in the universe to build greenhouses that you can have everything all the time the way you want. Then you understand how, if the man of the universe become clever enough to go further, as now they tell you, your zodiac sign is there, you're going to feel this and feel that, because what fields come to you allows you to react to it the same way. And then how do we react in different position of our solar system in this galaxy, and our galaxy, what fields absorbs from its universe? These are all to come. These are the beginning of the teaching. And we are teaching to our scientists how to start analyzing this. That leads to the creation and understanding of the what we call the RNA of the universe. That part of it is us. We are not just one planet in a solar system. We are that little part of the cell which makes that little piece of the skin on the toe. And the rest of the galaxies and universes shape up the liver, the kidney, and the structure of the life, what we call the creator. We are part of that process. As I said many times before, the same as our body has a receiving and a disposal, so does have our universe, so does have our galaxy, so does us as the totality of the universe have the same process. So many galaxies and so many universes in a given position and dimension make the bigger structure of the creation, what we call the creator of the creators. The Persians understood this thousands of years ago, and they created a name for it, which was the Shah, which means the creator. It was a god. And then they call it Shahanshah, which means the god of the gods. So what we call Unicos is that word, which means the creator of the creators. We have this. We understood our ancestors in a simplicity of understanding the word of creation, already understood this. But as has been the tradition, names have been given, taken by the name of the creator to give credibility to parts of the thinking and the belief. Look at the Islam, look at the Judaism, look at the Christianity. They all come from the same words, which originally was the name of a god, which was the name of the creator. And then they made statues to confirm the existence of Creator, which they could not see. And then the man took that name from that statue and the name of the Creator and made the religion out of it. That's how the religions are made, to the names we accept. Now you understand? Thousands of years ago, our ancestors understood this, but somehow down the line, we became so narrow-minded, became so entangled with physicality that we lost the sight of what was actually there. All the names we have given to the statues are the name of the gods, which we couldn't see. So they couldn't see, they made a statue. Now it's the same. You call it, in the history of Persian Empire, we call it Shahanshah, means the god of the gods. What we call it, the unicos. And then each one has a universe. Because there were so many gods under that dimension of gods. So now you understand. You can give it the terminology in physicality, you can give it terminology in the dimension of the fields, you can give it terminology in the dimension of the physical body of the man. It's all the same word. The man is creator of all liver, kidney, and operator of it. So we are a god of this structure. But this God lives within, created by other gods. We call it the mom and the dad and the grandpas and the grandfathers, and we go the ancestors backwards. So in a way, it's the same with the structure of the embodiment of the fields of the universe. We are created out of the fields of the universe, and we are connected the way the lymph connects, feeds the other part of the cells of the body, from the bone to the bone marrow to T cell and everything else. We call it lymph going through the body. We call it the cosmic ray in the universe. Because those fields feed the soul of the man, feed the energy fields of the man. Now, when you understand this, the world of creation becomes very simple. We are one part of one fraction of one cell in a skin piece of the bigger piece of what it is, the Creator. If we can find the what we call the outer shape, the outer boundary of our universe, then it will be that cell of the skin. But somehow it looks we are inside just the skin. They say we are on the boundary of the universe. We are that, what we call the fat under the skin level. We are a cell somewhere in there, and that's our universe, and the part of that is somewhere else. So we have given the same name, but in different positions, in different ways, and we created gods out of our own gods, and now we become gods. We're looking for a god to be our god, to carry on with the same fallacy. And the teaching about what we call the cosmic rays, the teaching about the cosmic fields, the teaching about the soul, the teaching about the soul of the Creator, is all part of understanding the bigger structure and how it's connected. In the body of the man, as I said, you call it the lymph, because we carry the energies to what needed. In the structure of our universe, we call it cosmic ray. But it's the same thing. It's a soup of energies, which everyone takes from it what it needs. That lymph, when it comes to the shoulder or becomes to the heart, becomes the cell of the heart. We take that cosmic rays and we use it for the cell of the heart, but in the dimensional fields of its energy, and the same. So in a way, we receive two limbs. One is the lymph of the universe, one is the lymph of the physicality of the man, because the lymph of physicality of the man has taken tangibility through the conversion of the fields of itself and what we call the inertia of the planet in the dimension of gravitational magnetic fields of its structure. If man understands it. If man goes to the next process of understanding what is inertia, what is the salt, what is the field of cosmic rays, and what is the emotion, man will be able to transmute in any point at any time, anywhere in the universe. And then, do we need the gods? Do we need the religions? As we understand the process of the creation, as we are part of that created, without that cell on the tip of your toe, the skin doesn't close, it's a leakage and the rest. And we even have developed the system in our body that we can immediately close the hole. We bleed, we put lymph in there, and we make another skin. Patch it up. It's like being in a ship and there's a hole in the hull. What do? You wait till it sinks? No, you put something in there to block it. Brain automatically blocks it. Make a new skin, repair system. So we need to understand how and why we have given so many different names to the same functionality. And then you understand how simple the world of creation is. It's us who has made it complicated due to our own lack of knowledge and ignorance of the creation, the process of creation. So when we start talking about cosmic rays, cosmic fields, speak about limbs and how limbs spread and deliver energy and fields and take what you don't need back to what it needs, and where it goes. Then you understand the world of science does not create what we call those who don't believe in God, don't believe in religion. We don't become atheists, but become those who understand the existence, the true essence of creation. That it brings us to understand more about the true existence than being atheists. And those who cannot understand this, they become the enemy of the scientists who try to explain where and how and the things have to be. So, do we become atheists or become men of space? Or do we still, the way we do, create churches in the hospitals, prayer rooms in the airports for the Muslims and the Christians and the Jews? Then it shows that we have not understood the process of creation. And that hypocrisy, that lack of understanding has brought us all these miseries. And those who understand the lies, the cheats on the name of every religion, use it to the best of their ability. Because, as you don't know, I can abuse you. As you don't know, you pay more. Because, as they say, it's very much like you're getting in the taxi in Bucharest. You get in the taxi, it takes you from airport to the hotel, it's $10. You get on a taxi, you do the same routes in another taxi, it's $20. Because you don't know, the guy doesn't need to go around the city to take you to the hotel. When you sit in a taxi, watch how many times the taxi driver pushes the window up and down, beep beeps, lights, because he's connected his meter through your ignorance to this. Every time the window goes up, you pay $1 more. But it's the same route. If you're clever, you know it's $10. Says, stop playing with that window. I cannot be fooled. Then you see you pay the same fee. then you understand the process. And this is how we've been fooled by those who themselves didn't understand, but they've been told how to fool a man going from A to B. An apple, which I eat half of it, and you eat the other half, creates the same length in your body and mine. In different strength of the apple you use, I use different strength of it. I'll be brown and yellow, and you'll be white and blue. But at the end of it, it's become part of our lymph, it's become part of us. So when we start talking about cosmic rays and cosmic fields, in the world of, if you don't understand it, too complicated, call it a lymph. And then in the lymph, you have radiations, you call it vitamin B, you call it B12, B9, and everything else. So that becomes cosmic rays. But what you gathered as lymph is your cosmic fields. There is no difference. I told you, we never teach you anything which is not there. This is why we open your eyes to understand it. And then you understand why I always said 80% of what you eat comes from cosmos, because you just put the seed of it. You create that electron, you create that little thing that the bigger thing has to feed it. You put that food in the stomach, converts it into a gas, a plasma of the fields. Now it says to the universe, I'm little one, feed me to here. This is what I need. And then I add this to feed the energy balance of DNA of the universe within my body. And then you understand how your soul is connected through the fields which come to feed you. They come to, in essence, deliver energies of the universe to RNA of the field of the universe in your body from an ancestor side, become the connection of you with the universe. Then man does not need to understand much to become the, what we call, passenger of the universe. We have, through our own lack of understanding, through our own conduct, have blocked that passage. Have blocked to see what's on the other side of the wall. But the light, the energy still comes through that wall. It's us who have blinded us to see what's behind it. Now you understand how beautiful the knowledge of the creation is. And you do not need to be, what do you call it, a genius to understand it. You just need to understand how the fields in different conditions interact and what they lead to, that when you go through a transmutation, you come to acidic environment and you say, oh, if I come in the alkaline the way I was on earth, there's none of me. I better change. I bring another dimension of the fields out of me. Then you transmute, you manifest yourself in the dimension of the time, place, and space. Now you understand how sweet it is, how beautiful it becomes when you see the bigger picture. But we have to teach you step by step. You talk about the cosmic rays. We've been talking about the field feeding the man. Now you understand what is feed you at what you call 80% is the cosmic rays, which is embedded within your body. This is embedded part of the energy feeding of your central position. In a way, the 20% is for your matter state, the other 80% is for the soul of the structure of the cell of your body, which feeds the soul of the man, which connects you to the universe. You are two-track-minded horse, the physicality and the energy, and both needs to be fed. If one is not fed correctly, this is what happened to you, you get dead. You leave the physicality behind, Zabu. The energy field goes, your soul leaves the body, the energy leaves the body. And then you leave the physicality behind. But the interesting thing is you go somewhere else and you start another physicality. Because now this thing has to interact where it goes with what it interacts. So you're not out of it, but you're in a bigger mess, in a bigger environment. Here at least everything was made for you. The planet made the food, the cow and everything you ate. Now you're out there on your own as an energy, and you have to feed it. And then somewhere in the interaction of totality, you have to manifest it. As a dust, as a soul, as a planet, as a star, or as another creature in the universe. What happens if your soul matches into the environment of the ocean of another planet? And you become the seed of life in that river, in that ocean, that starts a new generation. Would most of the souls which leave this planet end up in that ocean to create life in that ocean? Now you understand. Transmutation is in reality what happens to you at the point of death. Up to now, you didn't know where you go. Now you know what is your destiny. At least you can see where my soul would end up with my conduct, with my life, with my existence and the presence. In a way, what we teach to understand the bigger picture of the creation is for you to see the future, to be able to see the future of where you're going to end up. And would you change your conduct if you see where the end is? Because this physicality is demise. When man becomes wise, would he be able to create the condition to hold the soul of the man within the confinement system and then elevate it to the level that it becomes a perfect soul to start a new generation of life in the universe when it transmutes itself and when it creates a new dimension and position? Yes, that can be done. And this is part of the work of the Keshe Foundation, which we are teaching you. You can't see. It's a structure which is set up, and gradually you get to that point. When we tell you you're free to go where to go, it's the first time ever you see your destiny. You have a future in front of you, what is to become of your soul. Did you end up in those trips in the desert, or were you part of a life in the ocean of life somewhere else? You've seen your future, but you call it a dream. But this time, you are in what we call controlling seed, where it will go, and I do not like what's going to happen with it. I need to perfect it, that it goes to become what we call perfect condition for life. Now you understand. Now maybe you understand what all the cosmic rays is about. You went to United Nations, they took a swab of your saliva and they said which way your ancestors came and where is your origin from, which lake and which way they took all the way through Asia, through North Pole or through Europe. You became blonde and blue and Chinese looking. Now, if you understand the cosmic rays, you can trace back the origin of the life which led to the creation of you. Where did you come from? In which essence of creation? Which that essence of creation still feeds you. But it needs that little trap to know where it comes, and you call it a food. I take vitamin C, I take this and that. That's 20%. Then you know what is C to get the other 80%. I hope today you understand more the purpose of the teaching. Why are we going very slow? And slowly, every teaching, we're opening a new door. And then you wanted to understand what a cosmic ray and cosmic fields are. These are the path to your ancestors of the universe. Where you came from and how they're still feeding you without you knowing, through what you call the RNA, through what we call the magnetic field of the universe. When you're in the womb of the mother, she doesn't come and spoon feed you in the stomach. She delivers the energies that leads to the creation of you, to the existence of you, to maturity of you, and to completion of the life of you in the womb of the mother. So it's the same. The cosmic ray feeds the soul of the man in the womb of the physicality of the body of the man, ready for his next generation. Now we become more and more mature to understand what the teaching is about. And now we develop technologies to track back which part of the womb of the universe is feeding us and what we are getting from it. And which part, if we do change, allow us to understand more fields of the creation. So now you still have a problem with cosmic rays and cosmic fields. Now you understand the essence of the creation and what we call the evolution of life on this universe, on this galaxy, on this planet, which has ended up in the dimension of the magnetic field energy of this planet, and that has led to creation of the man in a plasmatic field of itself, not in the matter state of itself. One day I will explain how you can become a stone while you're standing in your step, and how you can make a life out of a stone, a living thing, a living being. Because if you understand the process of the creation, this has nothing to do with just understanding what you need to do to allow that life, that combination of the energies we call the atomic structure, to take life dimension and then manifest this. I always said to those who understood, maybe some of you are ready to understand. They say there is near to amount of 1 nail iron in the body of the man. If you know what to do with a nail on the floor, you can make a man to live from that nail. We can lead a life out of that. Because in the nail is in the matter state. In the body of the man is in the plasma state, which has a different volume, different interaction, and different life and condition. Now you understand how simple life is, and how it shall be now it will become. We go for a break. We come back and answer any questions, and don't ask me where your ancestors comes from the universe. You're still in the womb of the creation. You're still getting fed. It's nice to be in that womb. Rick, if you take us for a break and we come back.
All right, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Okay, we will, as Mr. Keshe says, be back shortly. So this is the 532nd Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, April 4th. And we'll have a couple of commercial breaks here and be back shortly.
The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit.
The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced, energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balanced fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The revolutionary new Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit is due to be launched in June 2022, and in the same year is expected to fly passengers into space, to the moon and beyond for a day or even several days at a time. There is no need for the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit to carry food or medicine, as it is equipped with the latest space technology for transportation, transmutation and deep space operation. This extraordinary breakthrough technology ushers in a new era of travel without the need of fuel, food, or medicine, even during the longest excursions into deep space. Each spaceship unit has a 4-passenger capacity for long or short duration flights and has the capability to travel between cities on Earth in a matter of seconds to minutes, depending on the distance and speed. This ability to traverse massive distance in such incredibly short time is not just a breakthrough for human transport, it also completely revolutionizes the transportation of goods and cargo and will rapidly overcome the need for one of our most polluting practices, namely marine shipping, as it finally breaks us free not only from the combustion of heavy diesel, but from the combustion of any fuel for propulsion in the future. The Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a new paradigm in space travel, space medicine, and space technology.
Okay, back again at our 532nd Knowledge Seekers workshop here. And this is the second half. Therefore, generally we get to ask questions of Mr. Keshe. And remind our attendees here in the Zoom meeting that you can raise your virtual hand, and then we can allow your microphone to open if you have a question. And we also have a YouTube chat where people can post questions as well. And the Q&A in our Zoom is another source of questions. Hello, Mr. Keshe. I hear you ready there. Are you, would you like to begin with some other news announcements or teachings, perhaps, before we get into questions?
Oh, really? We can go to the questions, and
okay.
If anything comes up, I'll let you know.
Okay.
There's something here, we just remember. We start delivering the material from what we call the cosmic materials, which we said sometime in the next few days. The first batches will leave us once we confirm what we call the containers for it, we can ship. And so those of you who ordered these materials, you start receiving them. I advise you, please do not touch the seal. Keep it as it is, because these have a value beyond the price. And what you need, what can do in the future, they have much higher value than you could ever imagine. So what we call what you've been ordering will start delivering in the next couple of weeks until we start producing. And it takes time for it to be produced, and hopefully we come to the point of gradually in the next few weeks and months meeting the demand which is created. But please understand, this is worth more than life. If you understand in the future what needs to be done with it, and those of you who possess it, hold it closely to you, as it'll be a future of lifeline for man in different, what we call dimensions and different interactions. Any questions? Are you there?
Whoops, my microphone was closed here. Just going to say that we have a couple of questions in the Q&A. First question from Claudia from the Brazilian community. Says, hello, Mr. Keshe. We were talking at the American teaching last Sunday about the differences between the amino acids in our RNA and DNA. And we know that RNA is linked to our emotions. But my question is, how are the work and the behavior of the cosmic ray materials in our DNA and RNA to expand our soul? Thank you.
Can you explain what it is?
I think she's asking how does it work, or what's the behavior of the cosmic ray materials in our DNA and RNA to expand our soul?
We use different restrictions of the what you call cosmic rays and cosmic fields for different purposes. Some of it is in the spectrum of the DNA, and some of it is in the spectrum of the fields of RNA and the soul of the man. It's not something you can target. It's a natural process of interaction of the fields we have. It's not that we make a specific or we can target a specific. It's as it is. We have created and we have so given field strength. You create emotions, you create certain emotions with those emotions direct the delivery line. But they are not the creator of that point. if you understand this in the process of even, let's say, breast cancer, we have the emotion in respect to our partner who's betraying us or playing outside, or we feel is. And so we create emotion that he enjoys my breast, so I cut him off it. I don't want him to ever touch it. He's enjoying another woman. So you get a divorce, or children are here, I have to tolerate it, but I don't want him to be there anymore. And I want to be in another condition, but another man doing this to me. You direct the emotion to the gravitational field of the rays you receive from the physical limb of the body of man, and you create a tumor, you create a new cell. But eventuality leads that you cannot touch it. Or you put it on the other side. I've seen so much pain from my mother that, or I've seen so much pain from my daughter that I don't want to create another one or be created from another. It's the emotion. In so many ways, we decide in the direction of the conversion. And if we change that emotion, you can change the cancer. Because it's what we create. We were created out of the emotion of the love of two, which became the seed of that emotion, us. Those of you who are children of love. But we do the same. This time is us within us who does this. It's very interesting. We have endeavored for this to show in the last Friday in the monthly sessions. And then we see how they react in the next monthly session. And it was very simple. We asked them, we put them through a system, through a process. And then we told them what to do and see how they feel, what they feel. And then we brought it to a physical emotion, how they feel, what they feel. As we say, we'll let it stew in the soul, in the energy field of the man, and see how he reacts next time. Because you can connect to, you don't need line of communications. And then you understand more of it and how it's going to be. So we decide in so many ways what we want to receive and how we want, through our emotion, connect to the field of the soul and add to it through the cosmic rays. You can do that. Any of us can do that. The way you decide, I want to have a vitamin D and the energy of the cosmic rays of vitamin D for my physicality. Once you become wise, you can direct energy fields for the elevation of all, in a way, receiving by the soul of the man to elevate himself. To understand more. Elevation comes from understanding, comprehending more about the creation. It doesn't become that, becomes a bigger soul and takes over the universe. I hope I managed to explain to you exactly what it means. Doesn't need amino acid, but it needs understanding the process of the interaction and involvement of all the fields of the universe. Partially we use for the fields of the physicality and partially we use it for what we call the fields of the physicality, or we call the soul, or the soul of physicality. Any other question?
Okay, we have a second question in the Q&A from Victor, who says, hello, I wanted to ask to Mr. Keshe the following question. I don't speak English, please. So what does it mean when a person passes away on the day of another person's birthday celebration? He says, for me, it would be very helpful. Many thanks. Would there be any special meaning to that event?
Yes. So can you check what's going on in the chat in the background? And there's something going on with some people. I don't understand this. Nothing is in Portuguese.
In the
There's two
webinar
guys
chat?
talking to each other. Yes.
Well, there's several people there in the Italian sector, I think. That's where they have a conversation. There's some problem with...
Can you tell us what's going on in here? Because this should become a private chat. This is not a...
Yeah, you guys need to have a different place to carry on your conversation instead of...
Yeah. Okay, can you read me the question, please, again?
Okay. The question is, what does it mean when a person passes away on the day of another person's birthday celebration?
Not much. It's just... It's a strange you bringing this up. Today is the 4th of April. And today is a celebration of 16th year anniversary celebration of Mehran, which all of you want to be. He passed on the 40th day of the passing of his mother, my brother. For years, was because the 40th day of respecting the death of a person in the Iranian culture is very important. And on the 40th day, he died out of nowhere through a heart attack. But the question was that why the soul decided to live this day? Or could it be a birthday? Is it adding to a soul? Or in fact, joining a soul? Or in that dimension of a birth receives a dimension of the soul which has no interaction with that condition of birth. You take the meaning from it the way you like. We see a lot of in long term, when a grandchild is born, within a few weeks before or a few weeks after, one of the grandparents dies. And they say, oh, he was aware of this, seeing the soul and the rest of it. But what does this do? Why do we... What does the point of departure is? I was contemplating on this for past 2 or 3 days, because every year, when it comes to 4th of April, it brings a lot of memories, a lot of joys. But the question is, why that day? It couldn't be another day. But what energy, what fields does it give to? Or receives from that birth that allows to free itself? Depends how you look at it. Is it the birth of one? Or celebration of the birth of one? Attention of the fields allows maturity of another soul for it to depart from that point. Become what I call a counter energy which is received for that piece which was missing for elevation. Because as much as we release energy when we die in a physical dimension, we bring with us a lot of energy when we are born. That process of birth tunnel is releasing a lot of energy. It's not just the physical body to be born. A lot of energies which is gathered in that, released, that who receives it? Those who are connected to it. And how close is that person to that time of birth? So we have to understand that it's not just the physical dimension. When we die, we release energy from us. Part of it goes to the people around us, and part of it as a energy becomes a point of a soul, and what do you call it, another life in another dimension. We receive a lot of fields at the point of birth. And depends how that energy is gone and how that energy is spread. It's not just the physicality of manifestation of the body. That womb of the mother, that environment of creation has energies which is releasing. Some of it is released so much that affects the emotion. And part of it is as a strength which releases the soul, maturity of a point in time and place. So we got to understand the totality, and even with that, we cannot find answers to all of it just to satisfy our, what we call intentions, or our emotion. And what effect that birth gives you, and what effect does that death brings you, departure of physicality and another life. And how do you receive that? That emotion, are you prepared for it? And what death does it connect to another birth? It's not so simple, but somewhere needs a lot of understanding of the totality and structure of the creation and how we receive and what we give. Any other question?
Well, actually, we
You answered all the questions.
We have a question in YouTube here, I believe. Okay, from Daniela. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. How important is it for the transmutation process to learn to synchronize the two halves of the brain? Do you have any advice how to do this? Thank you.
Pardon?
How important is it for the transmutation process to learn to synchronize the two halves of the brain. Do you have any advice how to do this?
Not really, because it doesn't work with that way. It works with the expansion of the soul, how you allow it to expand. And how much you want to be in control of. We see this a lot. We have seen this in last Thursday test. It was amazing what we saw. How people allow because last week was totally to what they call it, to do with the physicality, the test, and how we control through the soul. And what we see with the expansion of the soul, different application of the physicality. It was very interesting to see that more or less during the process when everything was on a go, on the run, how the what you call the people interacted with the system. How trying to explain in a way that makes sense to knowledge seekers in a when we looked at the graph during the process of last week, because each time we see the system in a different way, was that at the beginning, we see the normal operation. You're all in mayhem till you get fixed, until we see the expansion and the process. Then once we reach the point and we manage to get you through, we saw the soul of the man, because he was set up for that purpose, was working directly with the physicality of the man, because we're totally physically involved. The whole process of last week was in how we can change your physicality, how we can control, feed the soul, feed the physicality, and how we can change emotional conditions through the energy received by the soul to the physicality. And it was very amazing that solar physicality was encapsulated. It was like two-way communication only between the soul and physicality. Because usually in other processes, other tests we do, we see the solar physicality and physicality always interact with each other with the soul. But it became what we call two-way chat. And when we came in to interrupt the physicality, we saw everything collapse because it was totally physical time. Last week, test was amazing for our data. And how, as I said to people who are involved in this with us, in the background, I said, now we have a confirmation that man can be fed through the soul to his physicality. The reason we did this, Israelis disconnected the Keshe Foundation from the way we try to do. So we went through what we call the next generation of communication, which is the cosmic rays and through the InTouch. We watched going on because we knew we have reached the soul of Palestinians because it went to them. They needed the food. They didn't need so much medicine, they needed the food. When we left for the conference in China, we closed the whole laboratory. That there was no interaction. There was no one to interfere with anything. When our team came back the first day, the reactor, which was set for feeding only, because there's another reactor for what we call the wellness side, they were both filled up the same, they were both had the same capacity, the same thing was the same. The food was half, which meant we have already fed millions. Those who knew they have to. There wasn't that much need for the wellness side. We had to refill the feeding side. And when I was told this is the first thing we observed when they went back after 10 days because our team, the whole laboratory was closed for 10 days. I said, we achieved what we came here for. And now we filled it up. We're still feeding. Because the Palestinians have the connection line. They made the connection line the way we wanted. We can feed millions in this process. Why didn't it happen to the wellness side? They're connected, they're next to each other. One system is set through the soul of physicality, one system is set through the what we call need of the man in another dimension. So we see how we can control one to another. And it was very easy for us when it came to Friday's session to get the confirmation of the same in a systematic system, because we see people connecting, we see people taking food from our system. But there is a different amplitude, different what do you call it, a graph, when it's hundreds of thousands, and when there is no one, or there is a single person. How we can elevate the soul now in the next cycle of the test, in the next few weeks. And then how in between you can transmute. The process will be hand in hand. This is part of, as I said, cycle of the understanding, the teaching, and what the Keshe Foundation is going through. And many of you wanted to know how we connected. Yes, we have connected to many Palestinians, and they're eating. They're taking what they need, consciously or subconsciously. And then we'll see the data when it comes up in the coming time. We set out to feed, and there was no one in the lab for those 10 days to do anything, to change anything of the environment. But the system set up through what we call the cosmic rays, set up through the cosmic fields, has delivered what it was set for. The energy of such a vast amount of gases cannot disappear nowhere, even though there's another one next door of the same. The one which is set up to feed has fed. And those who wanted have received. Any other question?
Yes, we have a question from Antonio in the Q&A, who says, Mr. Keshe, I missed today's teaching, but hoping my question is still relevant. Is the soul in some ways physical, or is it a plasma? And if so, would the soul be a combination of all the fields in our universe and therefore a permanent self-replicating system?
Serious. In the physicality dimension of the fields of the brain of the man, you're energy. If I can move or change the environment of the brain of the man, the skull of the man. Let's say you are traveling in a space in the body of the man with the brain of construction, and you fall out of the plane. On Earth, you get the G gravity, you fall and you tear to pieces physicality. In that position, feel the strength of the environment, in a way your brain cells, amino acids, has no condition. So now the soul is interacting with the fields of different strength, different dimension, and it manifests itself in the shape of whatever. It's very much like what I said, that moisture in the room. You change the temperature, you get the ice on the window, you change the temperature, you get the steam, and you change the temperature, you see nothing, it's just there. It's the same position, same combination, the same understanding. When the matter state is a magnetic field strength of the environment, of the gravitational field of given position and time of the Earth, another dimension is the same, but gravitational field of the position and dimension of the place where you land. And you can, in a way, remove the soul by changing the fields of its environment to contain it and manifest it in another position. Man will be able to do that in the coming time. In a way, the way our blood is controlling our, what we call it, confining our souls according to its strength, the way we're doing in the head units. In more sophisticated, in the future, you can actually remove that position. People don't understand, and if we talk about it, what can be done, then that creates a lot of problems for the ignorance. But in the future, this is one of the positions of even those who you love in a dimension. Somebody told me something very interesting sometimes ago, and I answered it this way. Maybe this answers you. They said they kept the brain of Einstein. That one day they can do. What can you do with something which never had a soul in it to start with? The correct soul. That soul is gone, it's not there, it's just keeping the physicality. Isn't it the same as what they did with Lenin? Chemicals did not hold the fields of the soul. And in the future, man will have the knowledge. It's what you do yourself in transmutation. But in that process, you can, at the moment, we've watched the death of a man in an accident. The physicality sits there, but we are watching it because it's not complete. And we can, in the future, remove, create a condition of the fields that the soul can be given a place of comfort, existence. And maybe we can fix the physicality and return the soul back into it. Don't we do this with the heart of the man, which controls the soul of physicality? In time, it'll be done, but man is not ready for it. Can be done. That's a question.
Okay, thank you. From Alessandra, next question. It's in Italian, but I've translated. It's a three-part question. How do we come to understand totality? What are the teachings? Do all humans have souls?
Yes, of course, have souls. Without the soul, we cannot exist. Is there a solar system without the sun, as I always say? So, yes. Unless you're Italian, the Vatican tells you something else. Your soul is kept in with the Pope. We cannot exist if we don't have a central control. You got to realize in a dimension of physicality, I've said before, you have the carbon 12 or plasma of the carbon 12, which makes the body of the man as part of it. You have a plasma of 14, what we call cosmic rays dimension, which is on the strength of the field of the energy of the body. And then when these fields interact in a specific way, they create a physical containment, which what we call the carbon 60, as it'll create a dimension of physicality. And then one day I explain what this means, if understood. And then if you do a combination of the same thing in the different structure, you get the 360, and then you get the combination of the field dimensions to a bigger one. So the field changes to physicality, containment, and rest. And this needs a lot of understanding. In a way, if you understand it from a ray, you can create the physicality. But that needs a lot of knowledge, understanding how to bend it, to create that condition. The same as you come from crystal structure to singularity, you can go from singularity to crystal structure. It's a containment or manifestation. This needs a lot of understanding. It's very easy to teach once you understand it. And this is the cornerstone of the, if you travel with the dimension of the spaceship, this is what I said, in the coming time when you build the spaceships, there will be no air hangers to build something in it. We build it from the rays to become the physicality of the embodiment of the flight system. Any other question?
Okay, we have another question from Antonio. He says, my other question, Mr. Keshe, is the bombing of the World Central Kitchen. When it was reported, I felt the energy of Christ. It touched me deeply. And the only other time I felt this is when Princess Diana died. What are your thoughts on this global connection of love?
You got to understand with China. We will see a massacre in the next few hours. We're expecting a bloodbath in the few hours to come. And my advice has been not to go the way it's been decided, but is decided because it has a future of a lot of things. It will be the end of the religions, in a way you will understand very soon. Tel Aviv will not exist as a city very soon. That's for sure. And how much damage will come to cities of Iran, we do not know. But for sure, Haifa, Tel Aviv, and other cities, if what is on the card we see, will lose a huge amount of lives in it. It's just that the clock has started ticking. And this was initiated by Vatican. And we will see how this war of religions, proxied by Vatican, delivered by Tel Aviv, and played by Iran will come up. If what is on the card, if somebody doesn't stop the process, we will see what we call, if you're worried about the 6 people in the kitchen, the whole bedrock of religions will shake. We will see some world leaders will not be world leaders if it goes the way it is within the next few days. If somebody doesn't stop it, which a lot of people are trying to stop it, but they can't stop it because what we call the last, what we call arrow was shot a few days ago to make sure it happens, and the foolish people are playing the game. We see a slaughterhouse of religions, but this time all 3 of them are in it. And what we call, how it will take shape, we'll watch by next teaching. Would there be, in the state of Israel, leadership the way we see it? We know it today. Would there be another state? Would we lose hundreds of thousands of lives sponsored by religion? It'll make the 6 people died in the kitchen literally child's play. Our advice to the Iranian leadership is to withhold. We have given categoric request to the Iranian leadership, Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran and Sabah, to withdraw. But the plan has gone exactly what they thought. If this takes shape, for sure, Tel Aviv will not exist. We know what is going to happen. The structure was foreseen by us in October, November of last year. And we managed to convince the Iranian leadership to hold back. But destroying the Iranian consulate and embassy in Damascus in the past few days has brought a new dimension. And all these killings are deliberate, poke and poke till it's done, because Vatican is going to make billions out of it. The losses they made in Ukraine, they're hoping to make with Israel. And we have to see if next Thursday, I hope it will be the same as this Thursday, but from what we see in what we call, if Iran bites the bait, there will be no Tel Aviv by next Thursday. That's for sure. Or there will be massacres in big cities across Iran and Israel. And this is what Vatican wanted, to bring these two to head on, that it can bring the Christianity out the way it is. But with this, it finishes Vatican II. This is why Vatican pulled out of Ukraine a few weeks ago, ordered the end of the war in Ukraine. Because they concentrated, they changed the bet into, they paid the Americans that the Senate this week, or late last week, delivered a massive multi-billion weapons into Israel. and paid by Vatican. That's where the money came from. It didn't come from American accounts. So you're worried about the 6. How you feel? I'm sitting here watching. Would we see what the Israelis plan with the Americans to get involved to bring the Russians and the Chinese into it? Will take shape the way it is, or with the advanced technologies we see in the hand of Iran, a lot of things will be done not the way man ever knew. And this is what I said, we see the end of the position with Tel Aviv leadership and how they will carry it out. And where I sit, I've been trying to, we've managed to keep Iranian up this line for nearly 5 or 6 months. But the attack on Iranian Council has brought a new dimension of what we hope will not take shape. But if it does, the leadership map will be very different in a very short time. They're preparing for it. But would it go? As I said to one of the military guys very recently, the Americans says we knew nothing about Damascus, but we approved multi-billion weapons sale to Israel. Doesn't work. And I think a lot of firework will come up, and let's see how these 3 religions use the stupidity of each other to do. Because we're sure for sure Russians will divert a lot of weapons directly into Middle East, as we see in their portions are coming to Indian Ocean, and they're there to rub shoulders. They're not there for the show. And we'll see some of the most advanced technologies in the hand of Iran will come into play. The Americans will be puzzled in how these new technologies will change their superiority. But we have to wait and see. And I felt what you say about these 6 people, but don't worry, they killed more in the past before. 8 weeks ago, they bulleted hundreds. Last week again, more people in the queue to get fed were killed. It's a pattern. We poke and poke and poke till we get Iran to play, and Iran is going to play. But Haifa and Tel Aviv will have a different leaderships in a very, very short time. If Iran bites the bait, and it looks like they might have already bitten the, what we call the bait. We have to see how the fish will shake and shiver, will come off the hook, or will take the hook with it. And yet,
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Let me see here. We have a question from Lerdina from the Brazilian community. It says, first of all, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that Mr. Keshe is teaching us. I participate in the elevation at 9 p.m. Brasilia time, 2 a.m. CEST. And in the opening, I can see several different faces with us, and I would like to know how. I would like to know if it is normal for us knowledge seekers to have this visual contact. And I would also like to know if it is the elevation fields of the group meeting. Thank you very much.
Understand.
Well, apparently this person sees in the opening says I can see several different faces with us. and they would like to know how they're able to see these faces and if it's normal for knowledge seekers to have this kind of visual contact. Or is it only only in the elevation of the fields of the group meeting? So would this be a personal thing? Different people have different effects and perceptions that they might have depending on their life and abilities.
Oh, I think so. I think so. I don't think it's to do with the way the structure is set. In the next few days, those of you who bought the communication units and the Ubiso units will receive your other half of the systems. And then we bring you how to use, how to interact, and how to use the new communication systems. You cannot use the Ubiso systems for the communication bundles. A lot of people think they can do this. It cannot be. It's impossible. It's not set up to do that kind of thing. And from the communication point of view, we bring a lot of new dimensions. We'll set up a background once everybody receives theirs and how they connect to each other and how a new method of communication will be developed amongst those who have the units and how they interact, how they communicate. And you cannot transfer your illnesses to somebody else because you use the communication system. You cannot use it to heal somebody. So there's a different understanding and different process. And then we set up this international, what we call the new plasma technology communication. Then this answers you. You might see each other. In that type of connection, you might feel each other's emotion. And then the better you get at it, you can visually see physicality in the energy level of the soul. And what shape you gave to it is the same as you contact your mother in your dream, is a contact between the energy souls. But then in the visual part of the connection, you transfer that information, that's the mother, and you make the picture of the mother. We bring this, what we call communication bundles, this technology forward. Now that we are ready and we have delivered the first half, now the second half of some is going out to explain to you what is about to come. Those of you who bought the, what do you call it, communication bundles, you're in for a treat. But you're not there to use it for healing somebody or going to the Ubisos. No, it doesn't work that way. But it's a new communication system, which you can, the same way, it's nothing new. You do it every night, you dream of someone, you have a physicality of this person, this thing, the things you do with it. Now you get that with another person who has a communication unit. So if you have a communication bundle in Mexico and there's one in Australia, if you learn, if you connect the right way, and if you understand what's happening, you can literally feel the emotion and everything else of the person. It's very, very interesting what is to come. Then, yes, we can visual report because you're there. And you can connect to 20 of you all at the same time because you all want to be in that line of communication through the system. Any other question?
Yes, we have a question from Hong. Says, hello, Mr. Keshe. I'm Hong from China. In the 202nd Knowledge Seekers workshop, you told us how the soul of the man is created and how it absorbs environmental fields to nourish the fertilized egg cells, which continue to divide, ultimately creating a complete physicality. This suggests that the soul of the man naturally possesses the ability to nourish and create the physicality. If that's the case, why does this ability seem to cease functioning after we are born and separated from the womb of mother? You have developed the plasma headphone system and are in the process of establishing a global plasma field. Is one of the goals to enable humans and animals to regain this innate ability to create and nourish our physicality?
On the obesos we are doing, yes. And through the new system, as I said, with the Palestinians, we have 100% proof of it. It can be done in the next cycle. Those of you who joined us last Friday, we asked for 2 specific things in 2 sets. And it was specifically done for a purpose why we chose the 2 and then another 2. And the third session of the day was left to you to decide by pointing it. So yes, you can. And it's part of the obesos setup and reading the structure, which now we have seen is 100% proven to be correct. We developed the technology and you're the test drivers, you tested this. Any other question?
So why would that ability seem to cease functioning after we are born?
I have a very funny, what do you call it, say for this. It's very funny, but it's partially the truth about it, if you understand it. When we are born, what does the mother do? What are the first reactions when your soul is fed by itself within the womb of the mother, umbilical cord? You're born and then they cut it. What does a mother do? In the Russian technology of the birth, sometime even a lot of Europeans nowadays do this, they keep birth in the water. What about if we give birth in the fields? Now, when the child, as it's come through the birth tunnel, learns to feed itself through energy now. But now what the mother does, takes that umbilical cord, cut it off, and put it straight away on the breast of the mother. You get no chance to expand that soul, to allow that soul to feed the physicality. In the future, when now we have incubators, we put the children in it, so we create a condition that immediately the child is given to learn how to use the soul to feed itself, because it's coming with it. Then would we rely on the breast of the mother? Then yes, it will bring a lot of changes. It'll bring a lot of changes once we learn and we keep to that. Then we don't need to rely on the physicality of the milk of the mother. We still we still get the love of the mother through the emotion. And Yes, we can survive without it. But the first thing we do, we circulate. Any other? Hello? Are you
Yes,
there,
we have
Ed?
sorry. I have a question from Ed. Hi, how do the emotions create the inertia to absorb the cosmic rays and the happiness of giving it back out? Maintain it. Let's see if I can say that better.
This I understand what I'm saying. This is the part of the teaching we'll teach in the coming time. Many of you know it, many of you have worked with it, many of you handle it, but you don't see the principle of it, and that's why you ask such a question. It needs maturity, it needs a little bit more teaching, and then you'll come with it. What I see, maybe by the end of this year or beginning of next year, we can explain this. But it needs a little bit more understanding. We need to explain a little bit more. And partially, hopefully it'll be shown in the next conference. In a way, if we get to that point and the maturity gets there, the way we gave you the units in China conference and you decided to sit and go by the way you did, we'll bring it to you that you through your thoughts will manifest the entity physically for the others to see. It's very normal, it's very natural, but that comes through emotion and inertia. It's not very far if you understand. You create a tumor in your body. Now we create a condition of body outside it. We create it inside what we create. And then one of you for sure will decide to manifest Christ. And then you will see the true feature of the man you all been wishing for to see. And we know who that person is. And I'm planning it that way. Sooner or later, to bring you that. And I promise you, the Pope will deny it, and everybody else will do, because then they don't exist. If the man they say who they are, if he's there, they have no essence to exist. I know one person who will do that. Then we're setting systems for that eventuality. And yeah, the technology development is moving so fast that we will leap on. If anything happens to Iran in the situation to come, we'll move the presentation to another destination, and we'll still comply with what we say. But let's see. Let's see what next few days hold.
Okay, Ed has the second part to his question. Also, do the cells open up and become transparent as they go from matter state back to plasmatic when transmutation happens?
Watch it when it happens, then you tell me. We will see it very soon.
Okay, we've got a hand up here with a familiar knowledge seeker. Jalal, please go ahead.
Yes.
How many
Thank you, Rick.
questions? Ask him before you let him in.
Okay. I was shut up. Hello,
Thanks,
Mr.
Ella.
Cash.
Now you're in, we can't ask, it's too late. Rick should have asked before.
Okay. I think you can allow it. Just 1 second, please. There is a machine in the background. Mr. Cash, if this event happened, what if the event happened, what you speak about just now, and that's the question. What
event?
Between Iran and Israel?
It is now. It is now on the card. We just gotta wait. We just gotta wait and see how they decide to take shape. But we see a lot of things, which is, you have to understand, when these people poked in Damascus, they just didn't do it. They had everything set up to bring the trap in. You understand? The hitting of Iranian consulate embassy, killing one of the Iranian, again another one of the Iranian Sepah leaders, that wasn't just done to do. It was done fully premeditated. All the American nuclear warheads are faced towards Iran. America is saying, we didn't know, is all fallacy. We'll see. And the Iranian new technologies will show where these weapons will land. It's not that we didn't know and they did. They just, happened to bomb the... You could say to a school child such a thing, but you can't tell to the people like us who sit in different dimensions and understanding of the process. And they prepare themselves what will happen. But the thing is, they've never seen this new technology, how it's going to hit. If Iran moves to use the new technology, which is unknown to the West, you don't stand the chance. If Iran decides to use a combination of the two, again, you don't stand the chance. And if Iran decides to still do it the traditional way, then it's a bigger mayhem for the Iranians. But all American, Israeli nuclear warheads are targeted towards Iran cities. That was the order of Vatican. Vatican only pays if this is done. So one-way ticket.
Yeah, this is the question. This is one-way ticket. And everything will change after it.
It's already been bought, and yeah, you got to understand, there's a position. Israelis don't have a long-range missile to reach Iran, or planes to go back. So they need refueling tanks, which the Americans have given them. They move their weapons to Arbil, that it becomes closer. They're using Arbil as a base of launch. We know this. We have all the data backed up. They moved a huge number of their military into Azerbaijan as a nation, not Azerbaijan of the Turkey. And it's well expected. We already seen a few hits. But we are well, you got to see, they're trying to come in from different directions to make sure Iran is wiped out. This is the cornerstone of a Vatican. Vatican wants to see the end of this because they have a different agreement with, what do you call it, Mecca, or the Saudi family. The fake opening of the embassy, Iranian embassy in Saudi, was just a fake opening because they already shook hands with Vatican for different directions. But we'll see. We'll see which combination will take place in the next few hours, more or less, we think, or next few days, unless Iran listens to what we advised and go the way we advised with no pledge, which we don't think so it will happen in Damascus now.
Can the Universal Council do something?
Because that's their job. They have to see reachable leaders, but you have to understand how many of them can you make silent. There is a purpose to this war. It's the end of religions. We saw the physical border territorial wars are over. Now this is those who abuse the soul that bring themselves to an end to dispatch.
As we say, Judgment Day, huh?
It's not a judgment day, it's a foolish day. We used to have a television program in England called Fools and Horses. You need a fool to saddle a horse, which is not to be ridden. Let's see, it's not going to be easy. Next few hours, few days, will be mayhem of weapon technology and advanced technologies, all mastered on top of it. When the Americans brought the Ford, what do you call it, aircraft carrier into Mediterranean waters, a lot became clear what is about to happen. 2 warship naval carriers, aircraft carriers, coming into the scene. It was to cover a lot of things with their older auxiliary. It was obvious what's going to. He wasn't there to save the Palestinians falling into the water. He's there to save the Jews when they have to escape out of Palestine. You will watch what is about to happen. The way they bought the land in pieces since 1844, they'll give their lives to escape from the land in 2024. Just watch this, please. They do it to themselves. We don't do it to anything. We just see what is about to happen. Those aircraft carriers are not there to pick up Palestinians, are there to pick up the Jews when they escape. Just watch. Because they wanted to do it, but we all understand, but we have to watch. We are observers. We're just observers.
I hope this time you are wrong, Zakat.
I hope I'm wrong.
Will not take place.
I hope I'm wrong. What is coming through intelligence is totally different. I told you the war after last wars comes with the religions, and Pope could not keep his finger out of this one. So the war the Ukraine to go for peace, and the Germans got involved with the Ukrainians, and they diverted their attention and the finance towards the, what do we call, the war to poke in, to bring Iran between the Jews and the Muslims. They go, the Christians will stay safe. But this time all 3 of them will go together. The scenario is written in a very, very, what do you call it? In a way, the Israelis, what they did with the Palestine, it didn't lure the Iranian into it, it lured the Vatican, that it brings an end to all 3 of them. We'll have to wait and see, but we will see what we need to see, what will be there. And this time it's not the electronic war, this is not the one war, this has what was said to be there. And we'll see. I hope I'm wrong, but intelligence is confirming different unless somebody in the middle jumps in and sorts something out. We'll see. We'll see
Thank
what.
you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. Any other? Shall we call it a day?
There's one remaining question. When will cosmic rays be used? Was also asked by Alessandra from the Italian sector. Not sure.
What do you mean cosmic ray?
I'm not sure specifically what she means by when will cosmic rays be used. Perhaps for energy or other purposes.
Yeah, we probably understand what the question is. We're trying to answer it. We use cosmic rays all the time as part of our work. Yeah, let's call it a day. Thank you very much for today. And we hope we will understand it a bit more in the next weeks and months to where we're going and how we develop the technology. Thank you very much, and see you next week.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you so much for another wonderful workshop here, the 532nd in a row of Knowledge Seekers workshops every week. And thank you, everybody, for attending today's workshop and for your questions. And if there's any left over, bring them around for next week. Okay, our next public teaching workshop, we have a public meeting for testimonials, the 89th public meeting for testimonials coming up on April 8th. That's Monday, April 8th. And that starts at 8 p.m. Central European Summer Time. And folks are invited if you have any experiences of the plasma technology, please feel free to share them in that workshop. And that way others can learn from your experience. And it's a good thing to do, to share your experience, as it's in a way, it's a way to pay back for receiving the knowledge of the plasma technology. Again, that's Monday at 8 p.m. Central European Summer Time, and on the usual channels, but not on YouTube. Okay, thanks everyone once again, and we'll go out now with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version. And also thanks to Jedi Simon for our background image for today. And I think that's it. Bye for now, everyone.